Box to Box NBA Preview, hosted by Ndegz.
Welcome to my NBA preview, and the team in 11th place is the team from Memphis, Tennessee, the Memphis Grizzlies, and this is how their 2022-23 season was like. They had a 51-31 record, finished second in the West. They were really good to start off the season. They got scoring from a diverse group. 7 players averaged double-digit points, which is wild. Desmond Bane, 21.5 points per game. He was even better in his third season compared to his sophomore year. He shot over 40% from 3, 34 points per game from the bench from Tyus Jones and Brandon Clark. Like, they were getting a lot of production from this team. This team was getting a lot of production. It was one of the best offensive rebounding teams before Steven Adams went down, aka Aquaman. He missed the quarter of the season towards the end and obviously the playoffs. And sadly, he's also out for this season. He had season-ending surgery at the beginning of the season, so he's been ruled out for the entirety of the season. If we had done this preview at the beginning of the season, obviously, we wouldn't have had this news. So that's the advantage of us being a bit late. But yeah, they're really going to miss Steven Adams. One of my favorite players in the NBA. If there's one thing I miss about Steven Adams, is the screens that he sets. Like, dude, it's like running into a brick wall. Proper, legit. Then, Ja was suspended because of, if you don't know, you'll know. Then in the offseason, again, he was caught and he was suspended again, 25 games. He's missing the first 25 games of this season. And they're already in a big hole, having lost their first 6 games of the season. This is one of the teams that I had very high hopes for. They are in 11th place in my rankings. But again, I made these rankings at the beginning of this, before the season started. I'm now doing the rankings as the season has started. And yeah, this is one of the first ones that I'm seeing like I'm going to be very off, right? Defense was the calling card, was this team's calling card. And of course, Jared Jackson Jr. was the defensive player of the year in 2022-23, which was well deserved. And one thing about him was he always used to get into foul trouble, always got himself into foul trouble. And everyone knew. I said it, but everyone else also said it. So it wasn't that much of a secret. It wasn't me being clairvoyant or anything. If he avoids getting stupid fouls, this boy can stay on the field and he can cause havoc. And last year, fair enough, he stayed on the court a lot more than the previous season, and he was just an amazing rim protector. I think he led the league in blocks, or he was up there somewhere, or around him and Brook Lopez must have been somewhere at the top. The team was second in defensive rating, but the one thing that plagued this team was just immaturity. All through, from their point guard to how they behave during games, to Dillon Brooks calling out LeBron, everything was just weird. So yeah, they were a second seed that lost to a 7th seed. They lost the Lakers in the playoffs, and they had to make some moves in the offseason. These are the roster moves that they made. They acquired Marcus Smart for my Celtics. Then they acquired Derrick Rose, who came in from the Knicks. They got Shaquille Harrison as well. And then the big money move, they extended Desmond Bane, 5-year, $197.2 million. The money is wild. Then, obviously, after the season started again, another reason why it was good for us to do this now. They've just signed Bismack Biyombo to a 1-year, $5 million contract. Obviously, they lost Tyus Jones and Dillon Brooks. Draft picks, they drafted Gigi Jackson with the 45th pick. He was the youngest player in the draft. And he was an intriguing shot creating forward, but he's not someone who is. I haven't seen him play much, right? Let me say that so far in the season, but I haven't watched many of the games as well. And they also got Tank Biberovic, who's the 56th pick, but this is more of a draft and stash player, so he was drafted and he's still going to be playing in Europe. Players on expiring contracts were Xavier Tillman Sr. on $1.39 million, for this year. With that being said, this is the rotation. PG, Marcus Smart. Shooting guard, Desmond Bain. Small forward, Zaire Williams, right? And then power forward, Jaren Jackson Jr., Xavier Tillman at center. Obviously starting because our boy Steven Adams is out for the season. Then on the bench, Derrick Rose, Luke Kennard, David Roddy, Santi Aldama, Bismarck Biombo, Jake Gilliard, John Concha, one of the players who his name is just in my head. Him and Aldama, like last season, you just watch the bench and those two names were constantly they were just somewhere there doing something, either hustling for loose balls, and this is how they got to a second in defensive rating. Then Jake LaRavia and Kenneth Lofton Jr. My one big question for the Grizzlies is, can this team stay mature? Like, maturity in these people need maturity. They actually need to act their age, right? Starting with their point guard, their leader, is the worst example of just lack of maturity. Even did that interview with Jalen Rose and said how he's going to change and how he has seen the love he has received, and we're all there for him, right? Like, we all felt like sometimes when you come across this money and you still have the hood in you, and the people that you've chosen around you are not, I guess it's hard. You can't just change who you have, right? You can't just change the people around you easily, especially if it's people you've grown up with and stuff like that. But at some point, you just have to draw a line in the sand, You can't repeat something that you were, like you were so remorseful for, said you went to rehab and all that stuff. But then within a few moments, you just meet a rapper and you're in a car. IG Live is like your biggest downfall. And there you are again. So maturity, man, maturity. Obviously, Dylan Brooks is not there anymore as well. He was also another person who was just... Okay, for him, I wouldn't really call it maturity. He proved like when he played well, he really caused havoc. And he's currently playing well for the Rockets, right? So... But there are things that you don't do. You just don't go ruffling feathers, especially against the king, LeBron, when this man has seen everything in the playoffs and you want to try and ruffle his feathers. Like, he actually dominated you in the playoffs. But yeah, like, just maturity all around, like, just something that this team needs a lot more of. They're going to be tested. They're already in a big hole right now. And yeah, let's just see how they're going to do. Like, it's crazy. 24-second prediction. Shot clock. I'm predicting the Grizzlies. I don't even believe this anymore. But yeah, 6th place. I saw them getting about 45 wins there, 45, 48 wins. They're currently ranked 11th in my prediction. But in the West, man, shit, this is difficult. But anyway, yeah, 6th position for the Grizzlies. They are going to make the playoffs, and they're just going to get knocked out again because just not having Steven Adams is a big blow. Not having Ja for the first 5 games, I thought they would do better, but they're really struggling. Yeah. You know what? I'm not even seeing them make the playoffs, but I already said they're going to make the playoffs by prediction. So I'm conflicted. This one I've already given in. Yeah, I accept. I'm on the road. 11th place, the Grizzlies.
Ready for the ultimate slam dunk of content? Don't miss out on any of our NBA previews. Hit subscribe and be the MVP of your basketball knowledge game.